Good day sir, I'm Santos from USIT Tracy. So ngayon sir, i-dilan ko po yung or i-explain ko po yung assessment kwento po. So ngayon start na po tayo. So ito po sir. Assessment 1. So why is form handling and validation important in web development, particularly in terms of data integrity and security? So for me, form handling and validation make sure that the data users enter is correct, safe, and incomplete. It keeps your database clean and protects your website from attacks like SQL injection and XSS. It also gives users feedback when they make mistakes. Number 2. What are some key Laravel features that help prevent security vulnerabilities such as SQL injection, cross-site request forgery, or CSRF when handling farm data? So, Laravel has built-in tools to keep your app safe. So, one is CSRF protection. It adds a security token to forms so no one can fake a request. Number 2 is validation. It checks the user's input is valid before saying it or before saving it. Number 3 is eloquent ORM. It uses prepared statement to prevent SQL injection. And the last is escape output. So this is automatically removes harmful HTML to prevent XSS attacks. So hello. Number 3. Explain how you would create a basic form in Laravel using a blade template and handle its submission in a controller. Include an example of how you would define validation roles. So, nag-provide pa ako dito ng code sir. Ito po siya. Ito po yung first. Dito naman po yung routes. And dito naman po yung pag-implement. So, number 4 is how can customizing validation error messages improves the user experience in a web application. Provide an example of how you would customize and display validation error messages in a blade template. For me, custom messages make it easier for users to understand what went wrong. Number 5. What are the benefits of centralizing validation logic in Laravel applications, and how does this contribute to the maintainability of a web application? Putting validations ruled in one place, like form requests, it makes the app easier to maintain, cleaner, and more organized. And the last is it is consistent across the whole project. Assessment 2. Number 1. What is the role of middleware in Laravel's authentication system, and how does it help protect routes and resources from unauthorized resources or unauthorized access? Middleware acts like a security gate that checks who can access certain pages or routes. In Laravel, authentication middleware like auth or authorization makes sure a user is logged in before they can visit protected routes. Number 2. How does Laravel built-in authentication system handle users' registration and login? including the management of session tokens and validation of input data. It validates the user's input like email and password. It checks if the user exists in database during login, uses hash passwords for security. This hash passwords is not a plain text. It is unique characters. And the last is create a session token after login to remember the user. Number 3. Explain the importance of security measures like SQL injection prevention and XSS protection in login and registration forms. How does Laravel assist in preventing these vulnerabilities? SQL injection happens when a hacker tries to inject code into database queries. Laravel prevents this by using eloquent ORM and prepared statements which safely handle inputting. XSS or cross-site scripting happens when someone tries to run a script in your website. Laravel automatically escapes HTML in Blade template using the curly brackets so harmful scripts can't run. And number 4. How would you create and apply custom middleware in Laravel to restrict access to specific routes based on user's role, such as an admin only route? So, dito provide pa ako ng code using my notepad. This user using Laravel PHP. Number 5. In terms of scalability, how can Laravel authentication system be adapted to handle a growing number of users and requests? Giving examples like session management or token-based authentication. This session management, it stores session in a database or Redis instead of files, so multiple servers can share login data. Token-based authentication, dito naman is it uses Laravel Sanctum or Passport for APIs and mobile apps. Each user gets a secure token instead of a session. Assessment 3. Number 1. What are the key steps involved in implementing the create operation in Laravel and how do blade views and form handling play a role in this process? This process, it creates a form in blade view for user input. It submits the form to a route that points to a controller method. In the controller, use the $request arrow validate and open close brackets to check the input. It uses eloquent to save the data to the database. Number 2. It explain the importance of data validation and some sanitization in CRUD operations. How does Laravel ensure security when handling user input during these operations? They keep your data clean, correct, and safe. Validation ensures the data is complete and follows the right format. Sanitization removes harmful or unwanted input. So, dito naman sa number 3, describes how you would implement the read operation in Laravel to retrieve and display data from the database using both a controller method and a blade view. Dito sir, nag-provide pa ako ng code dito sa controller and blade view. Gumamit pa ako din ng for each loop sa blade view. Number 4 is what is the purpose of the update operation in Laravel and how would you handle form submissions to modify existing data entries in the database. The update operation, it lets user edit or change existing records. And number 5, How can you ensure that the delete operation in Laravel is secure and prevents accidental or unauthorized data removal? What role does validation plays in this process? In this process, it uses a form with CSRF protection. It adds a confirmation step before deleting. And last is it limits the delete or it deletes access using middleware or user roles. The last is assessment for number 1. What is the purpose of Google reCAPTCHA and how does it enhance security of web applications when integrated with forms? Um, Google reCAPTCHA helps protect your website from bots and spam by making sure the form is submitted by a real person. It adds an extra security check to prevent fake registrations, logins, or comments. Number 2. Describe the process of obtaining and registering a captcha site and secrets key from Google. Why is it important to update the domain when moving from localhost to production environment? To use Google reCAPTCHA, you need two keys, a site key and a secret key. Uh, First is you register your project with Google reCAPTCHA and provide your website's domain name, and Google then gives you a site key. It used in front end in your on your styles or front end, and second is a secret key uh, used in your back end to verify your response. When you move your project from localhost or your PC to a live website, you must update the domain name in your reCAPTCHA settings. This is important because reCAPTCHA only works on the domain you registered. If you don't update it, the reCAPTCHA won't load or validate correctly on your live site. Number 3. How would you integrate reCAPTCHA into a Laravel form? Online or outline the steps from installing the necessary package to adding the reCAPTCHA field in the form. Dito sir rin po ako, nag-provide ng code, pati sa number 4, or explain how to validate reCAPTCHA responses in Laravel. What role do the reCAPTCHA secret keys plays in this validation process? Ito naman si sir. And the last is, how can customizing error messages for failed reCAPTCHA attempts improve user experience? Provide an example of how you would handle reCAPTCHA errors in a Laravel controller. Custom error messages make it easier for users to understand what went wrong. So, yan lang po sir. Yun po yung PPT and explanation ko sa assessment 1 to 4. Thank you sir.